pulling closer. That's fine.
Clarinda, you can begin.
Okay, great. Okay. Great day, everyone. Welcome to Rafiki. We're starting, this is our second workshop on optimizing digestion for wellness. And with this course, the last time we discussed strategies for optimizing digestion. One of them has to do with hydration. You know you have to be hydrated, especially at a time like this when we're going through a heat wave. And then the other idea that we did a food prep idea where we all were able to partake of some sprouted lentils. So today I'm going to actually show you how to sprout those lentils. And before that, we're going to revisit the black seed. And if you look at, everyone has a handout. And we're going to go back to hydration and water. Now the handout says the 10 benefits of black cumin. It's also known as black seed, sativa nigella. There's quite a few names for it. Black cumin, and blessed seed. I can't say it in Arabic, but in Arabic it's also referred to as the blessed seed. And there are so many health benefits that come from it. It helps with type 2 diabetes. Researchers found that just 2 grams a day of black seed could result in reduced fasting blood sugar levels. Also epilepsy, published in the Medical Science Monitor, they found that black seed can be effective at reducing the frequency of seizures. Colon cancer, the seed was able to fight colon cancer in rats successfully with no observable side effects. MRSA, this is a deadly and antibiotic-resistant bacterial infection. Protection against heart attack damage, breast cancer, brain cancer, leukemia, brain damage from lead, and then oral cancer. So there's a lot of benefits to it, and another benefit is digestion. It's really good on the digestion. A lot of people will take the black seed oil, which is very concentrated. I find it a little aggressive. However, another way that you can do the black seed to make it effective is to put the seeds in water. I have some water sitting over here. It's in the sun because when you take water and you put it in the sun, the radiant energy from the sun causes the water to become a microwater. Which means that the water clusters move closer together and it makes it more absorbable for your cells. So with that, adding the black seed gives an extra added benefit to it as well, because you get the medicinal benefits of the black seed. Now I brought some cups out here, and so that everybody can actually try our black seed sun water. And there's a lot. You can go ahead.
What kind of water is it? Just regular water?
I got purified water. I put filtered or purified water. You can do tap water as well. Just leave the last of the water you can pour in your plants. Just that little bottom part of that water where the particulates have fallen and settled down to. The thing is, there's so many different types of waters. There's reverse osmosis, spring water, purified water, alkaline water, ionic water. And what happens when you use the black seed, it makes it into an ionic water where it has a charge to it, a negative charge, so it helps to reduce the scavenging free radicals in the body, which is a single oxygen molecule that's released by the cell when it's making cell fuel. So I'm going to have everybody come up and grab a cup of this nice, cool sun water.
Now, what's the difference?
And get a taste.
You're calling it black seed. Is it black seed? Is it black seed? Is different than...
Black seed and flaxseed are 2 different seeds.
Okay, gotcha.
Right. Flaxseed is really not recommended. I don't recommend flaxseed, especially if it's not cracked, because it's a phytoestrogen food. So women like me that are, grown, I get dark circles around my eyes because I get an overproduction of estrogen.
I got you.
So there's certain foods. So come on up and get you some of this black seed water. You can chew the seeds. A lot of times I'll make some, and I'll have the seeds in the water kind of like all day. Some of my drinks, some of them, will get drank. I'll chew on a few here and there.
Can you put them on a salad?
You can put them on a salad. You can also sprout these seeds, and I'm going to talk about that when I go into the sprouting
Maxine, you want some?
demonstration. You got it. So as you see, the seeds have fallen to the bottom. When you first put them in, they kind of float around the top. And so usually when they fall to the bottom, that's when you know that they're good to go. You know that it's that they've infused into the water. So with that, you know, like I said, you can just keep refilling your container. You put some seeds in, refill your containers. I have some samples for folks if you want to take some samples home. I have a few samples here so that you can go home and try it yourself.
Now your black seeds, are they different from chias?
Chia seeds are a different seed. They're different seeds. And again, you can sprout the black seed. Black seeds like mung beans or beans, they sprout under pressure. So if I were to sprout them, like you see them sitting on the bottom here, I could pour them out, and then a lot of times I'll put them in a saucer, and then I'll put the little water in, and I'll put another saucer on top and a little weight on top of that, and then that will help them to sprout, because they sprout, like some things sprout under pressure. What doesn't sprout under pressure and is very easy to sprout and is very nutritious is lentils. And you want to do what's called sprouting to all of your legumes and your seeds because they have what are called enzyme inhibitors. So the enzyme inhibitors, you know, plants are designed for the animals to eat them and get the seed and then, you know, drop the seed when they go. So, and then the seed sprouts back out. And that's an enzyme inhibitor to keep that seed from actually digesting. So when you sprout and you soak, you're actually taking the enzyme inhibitors out of the seed. So I'm just going to demonstrate. The last time I came in with the sprouted lentil and everybody was able to try them, you can put them on salad, you can eat them raw, you can cook them. It's very versatile the way you can prepare them, but what's really important about it, especially for digestion, is that they digest as a complete protein as opposed to a carbohydrate when you don't soak them. You'll notice that even when you cook them and you've sprouted them, they stay more firm. They'll stay a little firmer than if you cook them just like this and then they just turn to mush. So soaking them again takes out the enzyme inhibitors and gas. So I'm just going to demonstrate how I go about soaking my lentils. So what you do is, and again, this doesn't have to sprout under pressure, so I'm going to demonstrate how to make a real simple, easy sprouting jar. So first I'm going to start by just, you know, grabbing my quarter, and these really, you don't need a whole lot. Like for this jar right here, I would only fill it about this far because it's really going to expand and spread. They swell up. So, excuse me. So I'm going to put a little water in here, and you want to just wash them out, get any of the little rocks or whatever that's in it. So I like to just wash them real good, get them rinsed off real good. And I usually rinse them a couple times. Oops. So I've got them just rinsed, and then I'll just rinse them through one more time. Now you can go out and you can buy a fancy expensive sprouting jar for $12 or $20 or so like that, or you can just get you a mason jar, and you know they have the tops and the lids. You just take the lid off, get you a you know, whatever one of the veggie bags that your fruit comes in. I'm just going to give it a kind of cut it away. I'm just going to cut the. And you can, you know, like the little cuties and the little oranges and different things like that, they come with this net stuff. So you just cut it out. My scissors aren't the greatest. I'll make it work. Just rinse it off a little bit. And put it over the jar. And so you just put the lid on. And I'm going to cut around a little excess off. Hopefully it'll come off. My scissors aren't the best. Improvise. There we go. So this is the last part. Just real simple. Cut it off. Like that. then go ahead and put the seeds in the jar. Here, hold it over this. I'm making a mess. A little slow. See, so you want to get about maybe a quarter of the jar full. So I've got a little extra because this, again, the seeds are going to swell up. It'll fill up the jar. So I'm just going to use some of the black seed water, and they're just going to soak. So I got it like that, and you're going to just leave it full like that, and then you're just going to soak them overnight. And in the morning, so you have them like this, so you would soak them overnight. It's going to swell up like that, so in the morning you just turn your, see, and that way you can keep them like this, right? So once they start sprouting, you know, you would rinse them again, like if you were, say you were just, this is, I'm on day 2 now, and they're sprouting, they're taking up pretty much most of the jar, but I just give them a good rinse, like that. And then you just leave them, the second day you're going to leave them without the water. The first day you leave the water in the jar, the second day you leave them without the water, and then they'll continue to sprout, and as they sprout out, they get bigger and bigger and bigger. But once the tail pops out, they're consumable at that point. They're considered sprouted because the enzyme inhibitors are gone. You'll also notice a lot of times when you're soaking, especially beans, you'll see gas on top of the, you know, like the foam. That's all gas. That's all the enzyme inhibitors releasing the gas that would normally be in your body. So another good tip for, this wind's just blowing around. Another good tip for beans and legumes also is to boil them, you know, bring them to a boil, and then scrape the foam off again, and then let them set for about 45 minutes, and you're going to get another little film on there, and that's the last of the gas there. Then you can go ahead and cook them. And again, when you have legumes, your beans won't be a carbohydrate and all mushy. They're going to be a protein, because they can be either or. So if you cook them down without having degassed them or even sprouted them, you're going to get a carbohydrate. However, if you sprout them, you're going to get a protein. So, and which is best for digestion.
Should it be stored in a cool place, or should
Yeah.
it be in the sun?
But yeah, once they've sprouted out, you know, you can leave them on the counter when you have them sitting and soaking in the water. But once they've sprouted out, you keep them in the refrigerator.
Okay.
After that, and you can keep them, you know, and just rinse them off every now and then, like this, since you have them in your little homemade sprouting jar. You can get like a bigger jar like this, and just fix the top to do that. And let's see where we're at right there. Okay. So, are there any questions?
So you let the beans sprout, and then you can cook them, and then
Right.
that makes them a
And they
protein.
don't necessarily, what you'll notice is that the actual beans, that, like black beans, red beans, white beans, they don't necessarily sprout where you see the tail, but you'll start seeing the hulls come off. If you notice when you eat beans, and then you look back after you're done with them, and you look back before you flush, you'll see a lot of the hulls floating around in there because they don't really digest. So that helps to get off that which wouldn't digest.
Okay.
You know. So and again, the gas and the gassing of the beans. Yes. Sir?
So you don't have an after what it would look like.
Oh, no,
Demonstrate.
it was in the first class. We had the after, and we partook of them. So somebody recommended, well, would you show how to? So that's why I'm doing
I
it
just
in this
wanted to
class.
know what it would look like.
Oh, okay. Yeah, probably should have brought a sample. Actually, I did, and I was working on one, and this is another reason your point was very good, because I left mine out in the heat, and they got sour, so I didn't have anything to show. Good call. But you know, again, it's much more readily digestible when you sprout your legumes and your beans. It's really important that you do that. It's your seeds as well, like with the black seed, like I mentioned earlier, you would sprout it under pressure. So I could even take the black seeds, having soaked them, and then put them in the bottom of this cup, and then put the pressure on that cup. Maybe put some water in here to have some weight on it, and they'll still sprout in the bottom. Yes,
I'm
sir.
just wondering. It just seems like a lot of work. Maybe not a lot of work, but it seems like it's another step before you can actually eat this. So you said before you sprout them, it's mostly carbohydrates.
Yeah.
And then after you sprout them, it's pretty
Right.
much
If
protein.
you cook them unsprouted after, you know, without having soaked them, they'll come out to be a carbohydrate, as opposed, you know, and then you've got all the gas as well. So it's much more difficult to digest. You know, you gotta look at your stomach as the engine of your body. So you want to try to pre-digest the foods that you put into your body before, and that will bring me to the next topic that we were talking about.
But is it almost like a probiotic or something? Or I'm sorry, in terms of digesting it, is it more? So it's better digestible if it's sprouted.
Right, exactly. It's because you have your enzyme inhibitors. Your pancreas makes enzymes. So what happens is even still, sprouts, seeds, legumes, beans, seeds, legumes, beans, they all, legumes are beans rather, excuse me, but the things that you would sprout, they all have the enzyme inhibitors in them. Just like with certain foods you shouldn't eat raw, like broccoli, people aren't aware of that. But if you notice you eat broccoli raw, you kind of get gassy. That's because that broccoli has an enzyme inhibitor. It has to be cooked. You know, just if even if you're just dropping it in the boiling water, like blanching it, to get off the enzyme inhibitors. So the idea of these workshops is to kind of come up with food preparation strategies so that you can digest your food better. Like for instance, if you have a choice and you're making a smoothie, the better choice for the smoothie would be, like if you have a banana and a plantain, the better choice is the plantain, because the plantain's already an inulin, and the sugars are in inulin phase, whereas a banana your body has to take it from glucose to inulin to ATP. But with the plantain, that one step is already gone. That's one less digestive, one little bit less wear and tear on the engine. Yes, ma'am. Do you have a question? Comment? Not yet. Okay. So that's basically the idea of, like even with these workshops and optimizing your wellness with digestion. So,
So just to follow up, so I don't think I've never eaten broccoli cooked. I always eat it raw.
yeah. So you want to
Cauliflower,
Yeah.
other stuff like
all
that.
all your cruciferous, what are
Right.
called cruciferous.
Garlic.
Garlic, no, you don't have to cook garlic. But mostly you're just your cruciferous, which are like broccoli. Even if kale's grown out too much, if the kale's not baby kale, then you need to blanch it. Because it's again, the enzyme inhibitors. It's very difficult to digest. Dark leafy greens are harder to digest. So you want to try to take it easy. Yes, ma'am.
If you soak your beans the night before you're gonna cook them in water, and then just discard the water and cook them, does that work?
Actually with beans, the sprouting process takes 3 days. So the first day you soak, the second day you soak and can put in the refrigerator and keep soaking, and you each of those 2 days you pour off the water. Then the last day you can go ahead, bring that to a boil, and again pour off the water.
Okay.
Scrape
3
and
days,
pour off
not
the.
just overnight.
Yeah, not just overnight. It's 3 days to get a full sprout on beans. Whereas this is overnight. These will swell up and they'll start sprouting. Like it's different sprouting. And then beans don't sprout. You don't have to sprout them under pressure. Your beans, you don't have to put any pressure on them. Yes. Right. But however, with mung beans, you would soak them overnight, and then I would stack 2 bowls like this. I'd have the mung beans in here, and then I'd set the second bowl in and put some weight in it because they sprout under pressure. So there are some things that also the black seed sprouts under pressure as well.
I got a question. So
Yes,
for the beans again, you soak them one day.
3 days.
3 days. I mean, yes, but on day one you soak them. The next on day two
You
pour
still
the
leave them. You pour the water off and put new water on and continue
water.
soaking.
Okay, but you put it in the refrigerator at that point.
Right. Yeah.
Okay,
I
too.
generally do because we're in a heat wave, so it could
Okay.
once that foam starts,
Yes.
once some enzyme inhibitors and it's open to so
Okay.
you want to you can sprout them in the refrigerator. Sometimes you come in the house and you smell it too. When you cook beans, you can smell them.
Yes.
So that right there. So that's why the second day I put them in the refrigerator, because I'll come home and be like, ooh, I can smell the beans.
Yes.
Ain't even cooked yet. So moving on to the idea of pre-digesting your food before you put it in your body. There are like cultured vegetables that fermented foods are really good, like kimchi is a fermented food, sauerkraut. There's a Amish blend that I like to make with with the cabbage and butternut squash and a carrot, just and then and the way that you do those is you actually let them set and kind of ferment. So I had a friend, she used to always say, girl, give me some more of them rotten vegetables. So I used to always ferment lots of things. So one great fermenter is apple cider vinegar. It's really good for for balancing the pH in the digestive tract. What's really important though is not to take it straight. If you take it straight, it's a little abrasive so you want to either put it in water or next class I'm going to demonstrate how to actually make soda, make a soda with the apple cider vinegar, and I'm going to buy like some Welch's grape juice and a few others. I'm going to have one pre-done before I come, and then demonstrate how it's done in the class so that we got it right this time. I'll make sure I don't get it sour either. So this here is a fermented drink. This is a digestive tonic that I make. And I just brought it in as a sample to show you that even though I initially made the tea, and there's very little left, it's just the mother left in here. Even though I made the tea with sugar, the sugar, when you add, you can use apple cider vinegar, or you can use another mother like this one, and it will consume the sugar. And when it forms it, especially with kombucha makes most of your B complex, your B12, all the B complex help you with stress. It's also very medicinal, high in vitamins, probiotics, prebiotics. It's got all that for you. So what happens because people always say, well, how can that be healthy for you? Because you made it with sugar. And and sugar's on the label, but the sugar has been digested and consumed with kombucha. It's a bacteria and a yeast. They call it a mushroom, but it's actually a bacteria and a yeast. So it's been consumed, and what happens is when the sugar's consumed, it makes carbon dioxide. So like when I open this, it should go pop, unless my mother's gone bad on me. And I think she has, because it just made a small pop. But normally, last time I had one, it went pop. So that's basically what takes place, and that's what we're going to do in the next class that I just wanted to talk about briefly. Are there any more questions or comments?
I think the color fly has it.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Yes.
The butterfly came into class.
So, Clarinda, what's the difference between fermentation and pickling?
Okay, pickling, no, that's a very good question, because you can, I ferment my okra, and some people pickle their okra. When you're pickling, you use heat.
Okay.
And whereas with, you would boil, for instance, if you're doing beets,
Yeah.
you would boil the beets, and then, even use the juice in the water and add the little pickling spices to it that way. Whereas with fermenting, you might add a little bit of water, or you put a mother in there, be it apple cider vinegar. A lot of times when I make fermented, I will take a stalk of celery and blend it up, and that's what I use as the water, as the liquid, to make it juicy. I'll strain it so that I have the natural salt, the natural sodium, and it does really well with the fermenting. If I don't have a mother from previously fermenting, for instance, if my kimchi went bad on me or whatever, and I had to start it all over, I would use a little bit of apple cider vinegar, and I would blend up a couple of stalks of celery, and then take the juice and pour that juice over what I'm fermenting. Great. All righty. Well, it was a pleasure having everyone here. We hope to see you in the next class. We're definitely going to have some homemade soda.
Well,
Go ahead.
what do you mean by mother?
The mother is if you look, it's probably easier to see in the apple cider vinegar. Do you see that cloudy?
Mhm.
That is actually the culture that they refer to as the mother.
Oh,
Yeah, so a lot of, so you can see in the bottle how it's just here.
right.
So
I use that every morning with warm to hot water,
oh, that's good.
lemon,
Yeah,
and sometimes some
little cayenne.
cayenne and turmeric
Yeah, that's good. That's a good
for my morning
combination.
tonic. Yeah.
That's a good combination. You want to make sure you get enough water in there, though, because again,
Yeah,
with
yes,
the apple
it's
cider
mostly
vinegar,
water,
it can
yeah.
be abrasive. Great.
the mother's like the starter.
Yeah, the mother is like the starter. It's the actual culture, you know. So like with kombucha, they call it a mushroom, but it's really bacteria and yeast. But that would be referred to as the mother, the cloudy piece of slime. And everybody goes ooh to.
And this is darker than most apple cider vinegar.
Yeah, I've had it for a good while too. Yeah, and what I do too a lot of times is I will, you know, because you know.
It says it with the mother. I've never noticed that before.
Yeah, it's got
It says it on the front.
Oh, with the mother?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've
Oh, with
never-
the mother. Okay.
I bought this for
Never noticed that?
never noticed.
That
Never
they
noticed.
refer to that? Yeah, it's the well, you could call it the culture of the mother. Well, again, thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Greetings, I'm Jahara, and I am just grateful for another blessed day on earth, and I'm grateful to Dr. Clarinda for not only giving me a great massage today, but also for these these lessons on sprouting and on the black seeds as well, which I'm going to start using those. I was thinking those were chia seeds, but they're not. And so I'm grateful for that. Of course, I'm grateful to Rafiki and all my friends and all the great work you all do here.
Hi, you ready?
Yep.
My name is Cassandra, and I'm here at Rafiki for the class today on learning how to, I guess, with the beans, be able to change the beans from being a carbohydrate to a protein, and learning how to eat more healthier. So Clarinda did an amazing job at showing us how to sprout our beans before we cook them, and understanding that we can put the cumin seeds, or is it cumin seeds or black seed in water, and set the water and the seed in the sun, and it changes I don't know if it's the frequency or changes something about the water. So it makes it micro water. So a lot of good information today. So I'll be incorporating these things in my practice.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.